Well, as we reported earlier, Hurricane Gloria is taking aim at the Carolina coastline.
Reporter Tim Lake joins us now live via our New Star 7 satellite with a live update from Wrightsville Beach, North Carolina, waiting tonight under the hurricane warning.
Well, Sally and Peter, as you can see, the wind is picking up a little bit here. We're getting gusts probably about 40 miles an hour. Just about an hour and a half ago, it started raining here. It's been basically dry all the time. But if you look behind me, you can see that the surf is picking up. Tide is about 5 to 10 feet above normal, and we're getting some flooding at the end of Wrightsville Beach. Wrightsville Beach is right next to Wilmington, North Carolina, and this is, if you can remember, about a year ago where Diana ripped through. And people here are very aware of what a hurricane can do. At 8 o'clock this morning, civil defense people on this island asked the people to evacuate. And by 2 o'clock this afternoon, some 4,000 people were gone from this island. And it looks pretty much like a ghost town right now, Sally and Peter, except for us crazy reporters.
Tim, what about the traffic? I bet it's bumper to bumper right now.
Traffic, everybody's gone, really. Most of the traffic is in the Wilmington area now, and people trying to find hotels, but this island has been virtually wiped clean since about 2 this afternoon.
When do you think it's going to hit? When are the estimates there?
They're saying the Gloria, if it's going to hit land in North Carolina, will hit in about 5 or 6 hours from now. The chance of it hitting right here is now slimmed down to about 30% because Gloria has taken a little bit a turn toward the north. And the biggest chance is about an 85% chance in Morehead City, North Carolina, which is about an hour and a half to 2 hours from here up the coast.
Tim, with all those people out of the area now, how are the evacuation centers handling the traffic?
They have told us there's something like 7 evacuation centers here, and all of them are booked solid, just like the hotels.
7 all booked. Well, thank you, Tim.
That's New Star satellite reporter Tim Lake reporting live by satellite from Wrightsville Beach in North Carolina.
Well, the question at this point is, how is the evacuation effort going with the hurricane shifting its course a little bit north?
It's very difficult because hurricane warnings have been extended, as we showed you earlier, up to Cape Cod and Plymouth, Massachusetts. So when a warning goes up, obviously that's the time that you want to evacuate. And the difficulty is what's going to happen. Because this thing has moved toward Miami for a while, then it moved toward North and South Carolina for a while. And the question I posed to Dr. Neil Frank just moments ago is which way this eye is going next.
The storm has finally made contact with this current that's going to accelerate it to the north and the northeast. We think the storm is going to go over the eastern part of North Carolina tonight, and of course that's our immediate concern. But we've also got to worry about those folks that live on north of there in the highly populated areas of the Jersey coast and Maryland and on up into the south coast of New England. And so the dilemma tonight is if the center stays inland as it parallels the coast, then it'll weaken and you just got gales going on to New England. But if the center stays a little bit offshore or parallel to the coast, then you could maintain hurricane force all the way to New England. So as a course of least regret, we went on ahead and posted hurricane warnings all the way northward to Cape Cod, actually to Plymouth, just north of Cape Cod.
How much longer do you think the people in the Northeast will have to deal with Hurricane Gloria? Do you have an idea on that? A day?
Yeah, they're going to have to do it quickly because this center is going to pass along that mid-Atlantic coast tomorrow and on into New England by tomorrow night or at the latest early Saturday.
We'll have more on Hurricane Gloria in just a second.
Hurricane Gloria played havoc with airline schedules all day. She created delays for travelers everywhere, including those trying to get in and out of South Florida. News Center 7's Michael Williams is standing by live now at Miami International Airport with details.
Michael had some kind of a flight.
Whiteboards here, and you can tell that travel to and from the big cities in the Northeast is still a bit spotty this evening. So it seems that even though she was prowling far away from here, Hurricane Gloria managed to make a glorious mess out of the travel plans of hundreds of people in South Florida today. New York and Boston area-bound passengers were greeted this morning with canceled flight notices when they arrived at Miami International. JFK in New York was shut down for several hours, but is reopened now. LaGuardia, Newark, and Logan International in Boston never officially closed, but for much of the day, many airlines have stayed out of those 3 airports. They didn't want to run the risk of getting swiped by Hurricane Gloria. One Eastern passenger stuck here was worried plenty. He wanted to be in New York with his wife, who was riding out the bad weather. The scene at Fort Lauderdale Hollywood International Airport was much the same today. Airlines large and small putting a hold on Northeast flights. We found people trying to get into New York,
The first flight was canceled, and they say the second flight might be canceled.
And we found people happy to have gotten out of New York.
I got out a day ahead of time, and I seem to be traveling a day ahead of the storm.
Buffalo-bound Keith Powell cooled his heels in Fort Lauderdale Hollywood's New South Terminal most of the day. He'd dashed in from Boynton Beach early this morning, only to find that his People Express flight was going nowhere fast.
So I'm being put on standby for the 5:40 flight to Buffalo. Maybe I can get that flight.
What do you do in the meantime?
Sit here at the airport, I suppose.
All right, now here's the word from the airlines. They're saying if you have a reservation that's going to take you into one of the big northeastern cities, Philly, Boston, the New York area, give them a call, and if need be, they'll help you rebook or regroup so you can get where you're going. But they say please call the reservation desk first so that you don't make an unneeded trip to the airport. By the way, we do have one bit of a news flash. There are some other hurricanes headed up to the New England area, but these are the University of Miami football Hurricanes. But even they didn't want to mess with Hurricane Gloria. They were supposed to fly to Boston early this morning. That was canceled, and as of late this afternoon, we heard they were still waiting to get a flight on into the Boston area. So it seems Hurricane Gloria has made a mess out of things for just about everybody today.
Michael, thank you, Michael. Our Hurricanes up there, I think, are planning to go by bus to the game site, aren't they?
Well, they may be slogging through. It looks like it's going to be a muddy field tomorrow. Maybe they may have to play underwater. We'll just have to see.
When do they expect the flight schedules to resume back to normal, Michael?
It's starting to happen even now, but as we told you earlier, things are still a bit spotty. Pan Am, for instance, said it would fly no airline flights into Boston this evening. Some of the other airlines, like Eastern, have also canceled some of their flights into the LaGuardia area and the New York area today. But by tomorrow, they hope to have pretty much the schedule back to normal, so everybody just needs to sit tight. Most of the people we talked to, though, were not too frustrated. After all, no one wants to fly into the heart of a hurricane.
Can't blame them. Thank you, Michael.
News Center 7's Michael Williams reporting live from the airport.
Hurricane Gloria nailed the coast of North Carolina before making her way up the coast. Reporter Kevin Rosen is standing by live now with our News Star 7 satellite in Atlantic Beach, North Carolina.
See out on my package.
Kevin, how's it? Hello, Kevin. Kevin, what's it like up there?
Gloria paid a visit here. But something like she was.
Obviously, Kevin wasn't quite ready for us. We'll have him stand by and pitch to him a little bit later on if he's still available. Coverage of Hurricane Gloria continues now with reporter Pat Collins.
He's standing by live via our News Star 7 satellite in Williamstown, North Carolina. As you can see, it's pouring down there now. Pat, what's the situation?
Well, the situation here is that we're in an evacuation center, one of maybe a dozen evacuation centers in the state of North Carolina, as people move from the Outer Banks to escape the wrath of Hurricane Gloria, which is about 130 miles, the eye of which is about 130 miles off Cape Hatteras. Cape Hatteras has reported winds in excess of 50 miles an hour. Now, at this particular evacuation site, just in the last hour, we've had a power failure, we've had a tornado watch. We're outside operating on batteries. The evacuees are inside in the dark. There are places for them to rest here, but there's not much rest going on. It's going to be a night of waiting and watching to see what sort of wreckage this storm has done to their lives. Sally?
Pat, when do you expect the storm to hit landfall there?
Well, the storm has already had some great impact here because Hatteras is reporting winds in excess of 50 miles an hour. I would say probably around midnight or 1 o'clock should be probably the worst time for Hatteras, and then it's a question of what will happen to the storm. Will it go straight up the Outer Banks and up the coast, perhaps up and even into New Jersey, or will it bounce off and then maybe go out to sea? These are tricky storms, so we don't know until it actually makes a real good full contact with the coast of North Carolina.
Is everybody evacuated at this point, or are some people sticking it out?
No, there were actually a couple people I've talked to today who said they plan to stay there no matter what. Now, as conditions worsened here tonight, they may have changed their mind. There are some evacuation centers along Nags Head, some high ground areas where they could go to, but I have no idea if everybody is off the Outer Banks. I think there's still some people there.
Thank you, Pat.
Pat Collins reporting live via our News Star 7 satellite from Williamstown, North Carolina.